There are four things you are giving away every single day that are quietly destroying the respect people have for you, and you don't even realize you're doing it. The ancient Stoics knew this secret over 2,000 years ago, and by the end of this video, you will never look at your own words the same way again. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, yet he wrote his private thoughts in a journal meant for no one but himself. Seneca advised emperors, yet he guarded his inner world like a locked vault. Epictetus, born a slave, rose to become one of history's most respected teachers, and he did it by mastering one simple discipline: silence about the things that mattered most. What did these men understand that most of us have forgotten? They understood that respect is not something you demand. It is something you protect, and you protect it by controlling exactly what you reveal to the world. In this video, we are going to break down the four things you must never reveal if you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be respected, and if you want to walk through life with quiet, unshakable power. Stay until the end, because the fourth one is the one almost everyone gets wrong, and it might be the exact mistake that is costing you respect right now. Let us begin with a question. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you gave too much of yourself away? Maybe you shared a dream with a friend, and instead of encouragement, you got a raised eyebrow. Maybe you told a coworker about a plan, and somehow, mysteriously, someone else got credit for it a few weeks later. Maybe you opened up about a struggle, and instead of comfort, you found that same struggle used against you the next time there was a disagreement. If any of this sounds familiar, you are not alone, and more importantly, you are not weak for feeling burned by it. What you experienced is an ancient pattern, one that philosophers have studied and warned against for centuries. The Stoics built an entire framework of living around the idea that our peace, our power, and our respect come not from what we say, but from what we choose to keep to ourselves. This is not about being cold or distant. It is not about manipulation or playing games with people. It is about understanding a fundamental truth of human nature. Information is power, and every time you hand someone information about your inner world without discretion, you are handing them a piece of power over you. Today we explore the four things the Stoics would never reveal carelessly, and why guarding them is the foundation of a life lived with dignity. The first thing you must never reveal is your long-term plans before they are complete. This might sound counterintuitive in a world that celebrates transparency and constant sharing, but think carefully about what happens when you announce a goal before you have done the work. Psychologists have observed something curious about human behavior. When we tell others about our intentions, our brain often experiences a small reward, a sense of identity fulfillment, as if the goal has already been partially achieved. The danger is that this premature satisfaction can quietly drain the motivation needed to actually finish the task. But there is a second, more social danger, and this is where the Stoic wisdom becomes essential. When you reveal your plans too early, you open yourself up to the opinions, doubts, and sometimes the quiet sabotage of others. Not everyone around you wants to see you succeed, even if they smile and nod when you tell them your dreams. Envy is one of the oldest and most disguised emotions in human relationships, and Seneca warned repeatedly about surrounding yourself with those who might resent your rise. The Stoic approach was simple: let your actions speak first, build in silence, work in silence. Let the results of your discipline be the announcement, not your words. When you finally reveal what you have built, you reveal something undeniable, something that cannot be argued with, doubted, or diminished. This is a profound form of self-respect, because it means your worth is not dependent on validation gathered before the work is even done. Think of every person you have ever admired for a quiet, steady rise to success. Chances are you did not hear about their plans in the early stages. You saw the results, and only then did you learn the story behind them. That order matters. Order is protection. The third thing you must never reveal, at least not carelessly, is your emotional wounds and personal struggles to people who have not earned the right to hold them. This is perhaps the hardest one to accept in a culture that often equates vulnerability with strength and oversharing with authenticity. To be clear, the Stoics were not advocates of suppressing emotion or pretending pain does not exist. Marcus Aurelius wrote openly, but he wrote in his private journal, a space meant for no eyes but his own, and unknowingly for future generations who would study his honesty. The difference between his practice and modern oversharing is discernment. He processed his emotions with intention in a controlled space rather than scattering his inner turmoil across every conversation and every relationship, regardless of whether that person had earned his trust. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone who listens to your pain is safe. Some people collect your vulnerabilities the way a collector gathers rare items, not to help you, but to use later, whether consciously or unconsciously, as leverage, as gossip, or as a way to feel superior in comparison to your struggles. This does not mean you should never be vulnerable. It means vulnerability should be a gift given selectively to those who have demonstrated over time that they can be trusted with something so precious. When you share your deepest wounds with everyone who will listen, you dilute the power and sacredness of that vulnerability, and you also expose yourself unnecessarily to people who may not have your best interests at heart. Respect is built when people sense that you have depth they have not yet been given access to. It is built when your calm exterior suggests a fortress of strength within, not because you are hiding pain out of shame, but because you understand the value of choosing your confidants with the same care you would choose a business partner or a guardian for something irreplaceable. The fourth thing, and perhaps the one that surprises people the most, is your next move. This is different from your long-term plans, which we discussed earlier. Your next move refers to the immediate, tactical decisions you are about to make, whether in a negotiation, a conflict, a career shift, or even a simple disagreement with someone close to you. The Stoics were deeply aware, through their study of logic and human behavior, that predictability is a weakness in any situation involving other people's interests. If everyone around you always knows exactly what you are about to do, they can prepare for it, counter it, or position themselves to benefit from it before you even act. This is not about being deceptive or manipulative toward people who deserve your honesty. It is about understanding that discretion in timing and action is a form of wisdom, not dishonesty. Consider how often people undermine their own negotiations, whether for a raise, a business deal, or even a personal boundary, simply because they revealed their bottom line, their timeline, or their next step too early. Once the other party knows your next move, the balance of power shifts away from you. The Stoic practitioner learns to hold their cards close, not out of fear, but out of respect for the value of their own decisions. Silence about your next move also protects you from the exhausting cycle of explaining yourself to people who have not asked for an explanation and are not entitled to one. You do not owe everyone a preview of your decisions. You owe yourself the discipline to act when the time is right, and to let your results, rather than your announcements, do the talking. When you bring these four principles together, a clear pattern emerges. Respect is not earned by how much you reveal. It is earned by how wisely you choose what stays hidden. This is not about becoming secretive to the point of isolation, and it is not about distrusting every person in your life. It is about recognizing that discretion is a form of self-respect and self-respect is the foundation upon which the respect of others is built. People do not respect those who over-explain, overshare, and constantly seek validation through disclosure. They respect those who move through the world with a sense of quiet control, who speak when it matters, who reveal what serves them and their relationships, and who protect the rest as sacred territory. This was the Stoic way of living, not out of coldness, but out of a deep understanding of human nature, both their own and that of others. The next time you feel the urge to announce a plan before it is ready, to discuss your finances with someone who has not earned that trust, to hand your deepest wounds to someone who has not proven themselves worthy of that gift, or to reveal your next move before it is time to act, pause. Remember that the calm, composed, and quietly powerful people you admire most likely built that image not through what they said, but through what they chose never to say. That is the real secret behind lasting respect, and it is a discipline available to every single one of us, starting today, starting with your very next conversation. Plengens. If this video gave you a new way of thinking about respect, discipline, and the wisdom of the Stoics, do not let it end here. Hit that like button so this message reaches more people who need to hear it, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss the next lesson in timeless Stoic wisdom. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 4 things has been the hardest for you to keep private, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.